It has been exactly 150 days since College Football 25 has dropped, and it's kind of at that point of the year where the development team is more likely not dropping any more major updates for 25. They're probably focusing on 26. So let's address some rumors and some speculation that have been going on about the game. We got our Temple Dynasty going in the background, man. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out that series. We're going crazy. College Football 25, by all means, is a great game. Is it perfect? I would say no. A lot of flaws with the game, but for this to be the first game in 10 years, phenomenal. I'll take it. I love it. But it's a lot of improvements they could make for 26. So one rumor that's been going around about College Football 26 is some type of city mode or even career, whatever it is, man. If y'all familiar with 2K or even, let's say, GTA, where it's kind of that open world aspect, and I would expect it to be a little bit similar to how 2K does it, where the world is open. You could run around with your mob player, you could go to the store, you could go play ball, do a little bit of everything. In theory, this concept sounds very good. But in actuality, I think it's underwhelming, especially with 2K, man. For years, 2K players, I'm a big 2K player. We've been screaming that the city is way too big, man. City is way too big. You gotta travel around the city. And for me personally, I just want to play. You know, it's cool for the first day, cool for the first week, maybe even for the first month. But after that, it's like, you know, it kind of gets repetitive. So having them have the idea of trying to add a city, there has been speculations that they looked into the coding of 25 and they found that there actually was some city layout. So it might be coming in the future. We'll see. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of it. If it's for Road to Glory, I think that could be a good addition. But if it's going to be for the whole game, I don't see how they would make it work. But for Road to Glory, I guess that could be cool, man. You could, you know, go to your high school, play your high school game, go get a haircut, tattoos, whatever you want to do. It sounds cool, but in actuality, I think it's not as good as, you know, it sounds. The next rumor I want to address is being able to create your own stadium, man. We've seen Team Builder being added to this game a little bit later than launch. I think a lot of people thought we'd be able to customize our own stadium. It's a little bit frustrating when you have to take over a stadium and then the old graphics are still in that stadium. You know, there are some stadiums that's better than other where, you know, it's not super obvious that this is not your home field. But I think we should expect, whether it's this year, this coming year, or the following year, for us to be able to create our own stadium from scratch. And even if we have to, you know, go off, you know, a stadium and then just customize it a little bit, that'll be beneficial. In games like MLB, where you have Diamond Dynasty, in that game, you could create your own stadium, and it's super cool, man. It took them a while to add that feature, but I think that's a perfect feature just to show us that it's possible to have in games. So all EA gotta do is go in and add that feature. It probably would be, you know, a little bit time consuming, but you do it once and it's super fun, and you're able to, you know, it just adds to the whole experience. For me personally, the team builder, it leaves a little bit to be desired, man. I'm gonna leave that for another video that I'm gonna post, but, you know, I don't love the team builder. Next, let's talk about two-way players, man. We see Travis Hunter, two-way player, go out there and win the Heisman, man. One of the best to ever do it as a two-way player. Shout out Charles Woodson, all of them guys that did it before him. But in the current game, two-way players do not work, man. They are broken. And I think that's absolutely insane for it to be broken when we have a Heisman candidate, a Heisman Trophy winner, two-way player, man. So I expect next year for them to actually work in the game, and I expect them also to actually add some recruits that have the ability to go two ways, man. We have, you know, some athletes, wide receivers that you could put at cornerback and then also could play wide receiver. The issue is they won't develop on the other side of the ball. If you put them at wide receiver, they would never get better at cornerback, and then also vice versa. So it kind of just takes away the whole concept of having a two-way player. And then also they stats. They don't show the stats for both sides of the ball. If you have him at wide receiver, you would never be able to see how many tackles, interceptions he get, all of that. So I feel like next year that's something they definitely will address. Super obvious, super easy. I feel like it's easy to add that to the game, especially you got a whole cycle to add it, and you see, you know, we actually have the Heisman Trophy winner. So definitely should be something we should expect next year. Next thing we should expect is crossplay. And you might think, oh, we got cross. No, we don't have crossplay when it comes to leagues, man. I have my own dynasty, and if y'all want to join it, DM me on Instagram, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, all that. DM me on those. But we have the league, and it's a lot of Xbox guys that want to join the league. It's a PS5 league, and they have no ability, man. It's not crossplay, and that's amazing for it to be 2025, and we don't have crossplay for leagues in every single game that come out at this point, man. So I feel like that's something easy for them to add, man. We already have crossplay online, but just figure out how to add it to actual league play, man. The next thing we definitely should expect to see in the game is head coaches, man. This year, they just wasn't able to make it happen, whether it was money-wise or they just didn't have enough time to get the players and the head coach, whatever the situation was. But I expect to definitely see head coaches, if not this year, the following year after that. You had Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin say he'll be in the game for free. And it makes sense, man. Recruiting-wise, if, you know, a high school recruit go on to play the game and they see Lane Kiffin win a championship in the game, you know, that only could positively affect Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, the head coach. So I definitely expect to see that. The only issue is, you know, some coaches might want to get that bag. You know, the NIL deal that EA dropped was $600 for each player and then a free copy of the game. For a head coach, they might need a little bit more than that. They might actually want some money, so we'll see how many head coaches. I don't expect Bill Belichick to be in the game. If y'all know anything about Madden, he has never been in a Madden, and I don't expect him to ever be in the college football either, man. The next thing I definitely expect, man, I would say this is 100%. And it don't have to be the same as that concept. It's the trophy rooms, man. Back in 14, you had the trophy room. We just need some menu that shows us, you know, results of, you know, who won the Heisman each year, who won this trophy, who won the national championship. You know, I'm 6 years into my Temple Dynasty. If I didn't record every single video, I might not remember who won the national championship in year 1, year 2, who was All-Americans, you know, all of those type things. So it's amazing for it to not be in this current game. And I think EA definitely dropped the ball on that when it comes to Dynasty and not having no way to check records. There's the record screen, but even that is kind of, you know, iffy. I don't love it. So I think we definitely should expect them to have some type of trophy situation where you could go back and check to see who won each award every year. And then taking that to the next level, I expect at some point, whether it's this year or 2 years, 3 years from now, for us to have like a presentation, like a Heisman presentation. You know, if you have a Heisman candidate, why not have like a whole presentation? You know, the Heisman Trophy just happened in real life. Why not have some smaller version of that presentation in the game where your player shows up at the Heisman Trophy? You could even add to Road to Glory. Could be super cool. And we're in 2025, 2026, man. How do we not have some stuff like that, man? That would make it super cool. Even if a player get drafted, have an option where you could go to the draft and see them, you know, go in the first round, whatever. Something like that would be super cool to add. Staying on Road to Glory, I expect them to see that done right, man. From conversations I had with people that played Road to Glory this year, they think the mode was a little bit underwhelming. Me personally, I'm a Dynasty guy. I haven't played much Road to Glory yet. And people just saying, you know, a little bit boring. You know, they was expecting a little bit more, man. Waiting 10 years for the whole Road to Glory to come back. And, you know, they was kind of just left out to dry, they feel like. I think people did like the whole concept of, you know, you have your grades, you have practice, you have games, you have to balance all of these different things, and you still have to pass, you could graduate early. Some of those things was cool. But I think what people really was missing was the whole high school concept, man. Going to high school, whether, I don't know if you was a senior in 14, but even if you just started off as a senior or even a junior, I think people would really love that whole process, and then going on to select your school and, you know, earning the scholarships. I think that was a big thing. In this game, you kind of just picked if you want to be a top recruit or a bottom recruit and, you know, go whatever program you kind of want to, compared to, like, you actually have to earn the scholarship. If you want to go to Alabama, you have to put up crazy stats. You know, having that whole concept added back to Road to Glory, I think they definitely will do. And one thing video games love to do is take something away and add it back like it's brand new. And that's just might be one of them situations where they take it away and they'll add it back and act like it's a whole brand new concept and everyone loves it. Staying on that same topic, I think we'll also see Road to Glory being able to transition or be imported into Madden. I think they took that feature out, something to do with NIL, somewhere in around that ballpark, whatever. I think we can expect that feature to come back, especially with, players actually legally being able to play in this game, be in this game, being on NIL deals. So we'll see if, your road to glory actually could translate over to, the NFL. I don't expect to see draft classes, man. I just don't think they'll do it. I don't think they're legally allowed to do it, so I would not expect that for this game at least. Next, I want to talk about NIL, man, and I expect them to have that in the game to some extent, man. Right now, I feel like it's not in the game whatsoever. Some people say the hours, every dynasty school, your school prestige, you get a certain amount of hours. People say that has to do with NIL. I don't think so, man. I think that's totally different. It's different in real life. I expect them to add NIL to some extent. After this year, I think we'll get more clarity of what NIL and college football will be moving forward. So I expect them to add some sort of that into the game, man. Last thing I want to address is the transfer portal, man. I expect that to be completely different. It should be, because I think it was done very wrong in this game, man. Very wrong when it comes to not enough players entering, and then also just, the volume of players coming in and out each program is not enough, man. In real life, the transfer portal opened literally a week ago from today, and it's complete madness, man. I got a video dropping on the channel talking about the transfer portal in real life, literally dropping later today, man. Like, comment, subscribe, all that to see that video. But in the game, it's so simple, man. By year 2, year 3, you don't even have top players entering the transfer portal. Like, you just don't anymore, man. And it's not realistic at all. You got so many players from every school just jumping in the portal. Players jumping in every single year. It's madness. I would like to see a little bit of that madness in EA, man. It makes college football fun. It can also make the video game fun. So I feel like they're going to add that, especially make it just a little bit better, because they completely dropped the ball, in my opinion, when it comes to the transfer portal. Real life, 2 transfer portal windows. I get why it's only 1 in the game, but still, just not super realistic. Let's make this a conversation down in the comments, man. Y'all let me know any rumors that I didn't address, how y'all feel about anything I talked about, anything y'all want to see in the game. Feel free to talk about it down in the comment section. That's all I got for y'all today. Like, comment, subscribe, click the video on the screen now for my temple rebuild.